David Fahrenthold over at the Washington Post has written a hit piece on Bernie Sanders that apparently is just like full of BS, for lack of a better phrase. Bullpucky, whatever you want to call it. Robert Reich is debunking it over at the Huffington Post. The headline, "Why the Washington Post's Attack on Bernie Sanders is Bunk." David Fahrenthold writes, Sanders is not just a big spending liberal, and his agenda is not just about money. It's also about control, because he wants to give everybody free college education in publicly funded universities, right? In state colleges and community colleges. And so Fahrenthold writes in the Washington Post that this would mean colleges would run by government rules. Oh, my God! Government rules! Robert Reich writes, apparently Fahrenthold is unaware that 3/4 of college students today attend public universities financed largely by state governments. And gee, what a surprise, no government rules. Or maybe it's that Fahrenthold really just kind of likes the Koch brothers. As Robert Reich writes, when the Charles Koch Foundation pledged $1.5 million to Florida State University's economics department, for example, it stipulated that a Koch-appointed advisory committee would select professors and undertake annual evaluations. The Koch brothers now fund 350 programs at over 250 colleges and universities across America. You can bet that funding does not underwrite research on inequality and environmental justice. So the Washington Post arguing that our colleges apparently should be more privatized. We should have more billionaires setting the agenda for education in the United States. This is nuts. Similarly, Fahrenthold similarly claims, writes former Labor Secretary Robert Reich, and now college professor, Fahrenthold similarly claims Sanders' plan for a single-payer system would put healthcare under the, quote, control, end quote, of government. But healthcare, Robert Reich writes, is already largely financed through government subsidies, only they're flowing to for-profit health insurers that are now busily consolidating into corporate leviathans. Why should anyone suppose these for-profit giants will be any less controlling than the government? What we do know is they're far more expensive than a single-payer system. It's amazing. I read the Washington Post piece, and I was astonished. David Fahrenthold presenting himself as a reporter, you know, that he's been reporting on Congress since 2000 or something like that. Right. Now, I'm sorry, this is a hit job.